Hey guys, AirsoftAl here, and today I want to kind of give you a good synopsis on my first Walther pistol. Now, the first Walther pistol I ever got was a real steel variant. Now I'm talking, this is the real steel variant. I got the Walther P99. This was back in roughly 2008, 2009 roughly, and I loved that gun. Then I kind of lost it. Or it got stolen. The story that I've been given to this day is it was stolen, apparently, so yeah. But then I found the airsoft variant, and my love for Walther was rekindled, and it's the reason for this pistol. Ever since I got this Springer, this is the reason why I respect and love Umarex USA to this day. What gun am I talking about? Well, for anyone who's ever seen James Bond, or the new 007 anyway, then you recognize this pistol. Let's get dangerous. Oh yeah. That is correct. I have here the Springer variant of the Walther P99. Now, the Walther P99 has a very prestigious history in the history books of firearms, especially since it came out way back in 1996. That's correct. This is an old style of gun. This was, you may look at, okay, before saying 1996, looking at this gun, you were thinking this was released right around 2009, maybe 2010, and so a lot of the new generation thinks this was a very modern gun. This is a very modern-looking gun, even for its time. Even for its time, back in the 90s, this was a futuristic-looking gun, and it was just a beast of a gun in the real steel world, and even in airsoft. The gas blowback variant is so beautifully made and so well done that it is just beautiful. Now, like I said, this was released back in 1996. Now, the P99 basically means of its is a 9mm caliber. The real steel is a 9mm caliber and is contracted to many law enforcement, special forces, militaries. The most prestigiously well-known cultural aspect of the Walther here is because of James Bond, and of course Chris Bronson and many others. But then again, that's kind of how James Bond has been. It's went through so many changes, but even so, I still love this pistol. And a big reason why I love it, that feature right there. Yeah, this one here has a locking slide. The Springer variant keeps realistic. It's fully ambidextrous on the magazine release. The slide release, on the other hand, not ambidextrous because the safety is here. Now, why they couldn't put the safety like on the real steel on this one, I don't know. Umarex USA, if you're kind of listening, this should be a cue for you. But even so, the magazine it comes with is a very beautiful clear magazine, and the trademarks on the gun is beautiful as well, because Walther P99, P99, Walther, even when you close the slide, I'm just going to close it here and let you see all the trademarks. You can see the caliber just like on a real steel would show you. The gun itself actually comes in an assortment of calibers like this, Walther here, Walther here. There are Walther trademarks all over the place on this gun, and it is beautiful. Now, the slide itself is actually snappy. Even when against gravity, it's just snappy. And what's actually cool is they actually do give you a fire indicator, like on the real steel, so it can tell you if you're hot or not. And not that kind of hot or not. Yeah, what I don't like is they did not give you the two-stage trigger. Well, the two-stage trigger that I know of is there's this little button here that basically pulls down and, you know, prevents you from doing that. Which, in this case, this is not the case. Now, aside from the real steel world, this gun has been synonymous with a lot of a lot of FPSs and a lot of third-person shooters. A big one that is to contribute is in fact Call of Duty, or be more specific, Modern Warfare, either 2 or 3, I think. Either which one. You'll see some gameplay footage on the side here of where it came from. But even so, it's definitely a nice little gun to have. It was a nice gun to have in the game because it shot quick, it was on target, it was just a very good handgun. And the way the gun is designed, it's designed almost like a 5.7 almost. Like that. Now, of course, I do have some gripes on the gun itself, but we'll get into that in the later half. But outside of that, I don't have any combat footage to show you, but you can probably look through my history, my video history, and probably find me using a Springer here. And I'll tell you now, this Springer performs well because the way I've used it, I've always used it like I'm power stroking it almost, like that, where I've basically done this and fired. And I'll tell you now, this gun performs just admirably under pressure and combat. And what's great is that there are 2 style of magazines here. You got the common speed loader one, or you got the milsim one. And yes, there are in fact milsim magazines where it basically holds the standard 20 rounds that the real steel holds, or somewhere around that nature anyway. This one's a speed loader where you basically pull it down, shake it, all that, but it's clear. So that way if you have to, while you're in combat and you have to quickly check, you can quickly drop the mag just a bit, check how many BBs you got, and then pull it up here. That, and you can actually power stroke it when you have it ready to reload. When the slide is locked back and you have to do a quick little reload, you can basically do this. You can basically power stroke it. And I love it for that. I really do. Now, with all my love for it, and believe me, there's a lot of love for this gun because it is made beautifully well. It is made extremely good. But there are some gripes I want to get out of the way. One of the many gripes I have is, in fact, the safety. The safety is hard and kind of difficult to turn because of the size of it. Ow, shit. So I basically leave it on fire all the time. Another one is the Picatinny rail here. This is lack of luster. It definitely shows basically that it's basically one of those things of, it's obvious the company is wanting you to buy their laser sights. It's blatantly obvious. That's what that is. And then finally, another gripe I have is with, I hate to say it, but it's kind of with the slide release. Because if you have it anywhere like this, or basically pointed down and you're cocking it, even though you have a full magazine, so this little bit right here will not catch it, will not catch the slide release. The gravity will force the slide release up, so when you're cocking it, it catches the slide, and you have to basically do this and power stroke it to basically fire again. This is a problem I had on another Umarex gun that will be in another review very soon. But outside of that, do I have any other gripes on the gun? Not really. There actually is more good than bad on this gun. What are the goods of the gun? You can actually change out the grip here. If you have smaller hands, you can change this out by simply removing this pin here and changing it out, putting it in there, put the pin back in, and then you can basically have a smaller hand grip, hand guard here to basically, for the curvature of your hand. I only have very few gripes on these certain types of guns, and I love these types of guns if done right. And this is one of those guns that's done right. Now, as for FPS, sorry, I got a little something stuck in my throat. As for FPS, I will tell you now, this thing shoots at a roughly, with a .2, it shoots at about 250 FPS, or 240. But even so, at 100 feet, Well, correction, I've actually been able to hit targets at well beyond 150 feet, but once again, this is myself who does this sort of stuff, who likes to long shoot, who likes to push guns to the very distance, and likes to adjust for his aim. But even so, at 150 feet, this gun accurately hits. The sights are well good for it, and if you want, you can actually... There are actually little apertures on these things, so you can paint little dots on them, so it makes it easier for you to actually line up on target. And the whole gun itself is just purely ergonomic. It is just well built. It's just well good. The gun is just beautifully done. I cannot find many gripes for these types of guns because it's very few and far between. But if I had to basically make more gripes about it, I would have to say that I really wish that Umarex actually did keep true to the real steel, even with Springer. I mean, hell, the 1911 Springers keep true to the real steel 1911. Umarex, why not keep true to the real steel as well? You are a part of Walther Firearms. You guys have a heritage to live up to. So why not live up to it? I mean, give us the fully ambidextrous slide release. Give us the safety that's on the real steel. Give us stuff that we can work with. Because I've seen people take and modify them to be absolute CQB beast. And before a lot of you start saying, oh, it's for backyard shooting. No, it is not. I can account many people, airsofters, who will say they have Springer guns on them at all times in case their gas gun goes out. And a lot of times they'll go for the Springer gun not away from the gas gun because the Springer gun, they know it's going to last. It's going to work. It's going to do good for them. So, yes. 100 times, yes, I will go for the Springer gun over a gas blowback gun. Will that always happen? Not always, because I'll probably slowly transition from the gun back here to the gun on my hip, where I will go for. But even so, I can definitely say, for $20, this is a good buy. And the magazines themselves, these suckers, they are $8 a piece. You can buy these magazines for cheap, straight from the company if you got a wholesale account, and I would recommend you guys try and get a wholesale account if you're a business. But yeah, this gun here, while yes, I have gripes for it, and believe me, I could nitpick this gun all day, but that's just over my own personal feelings. Now you're probably asking, does the gun perform well for what it needs to do? Yes. Is the gun good at the price it is? Yes. Will the gun break on you? No. I've had this thing for well over 4 years now. I love this gun. Now this is a friend's gun, but you know what? It's one of those things. This was a very good gun. I love the gun. I know people who have these guns when they first came out, and they are still working. Why? Because Umarex knows how to build guns. Just like Cybergun. So you know what? While, yes, once again, I'm definitely going to not give it my highest rating of 10 out of 10, I will admit that it is going to get, with the experience I got out of it, and the minor gripes I've given it, this gun gets a well-deserved, well-needed 9 out of 10 with my own Walther badass seal of approval. And you can bet your ass that I will run with this gun through and through till the day I finally retire from Airsoft. Thank you guys for watching. I've been AirsoftAl, and I will see you guys on the front lines. Until next time. Now if you excuse me, I have to go get ready for the next review. This one is not going to be pretty. Need to drink heavily for this one.